Today I fucked up by leaving a tampon in for over 3 weeks. I know this sounds like it belongs in Bad Women's Anatomy, and I would have completely thought the same until like 15 minutes ago because I didn't know this could even happen, but here I am. Too long did not read. At the bottom, I, 26 female, and boyfriend, Henry, 26 male, have been dating for about 5 months. We have been sexually active throughout the entirety of our relationship, and he spends approximately 6 of the 7 nights a week at my place, which means we do the horizontal boogie on a regular basis. I've also had an IUD since I was 18, well, 2 different ones, and plan on continuing to have one until I'm ready to have kids, meaning, since my IUD has always been perfect at its job, we always have unprotected sex. This also means that my periods can be unpredictable and kind of just come and go as they please. I promise this is relevant to the TIFU. Anyways, about 3 weeks ago Henry and I were having our nightly canoodle, when I reminded him that it was my time of the month and had to take my tampon out. Because we had been getting handsy before I reminded him, he replied, "Really?" I didn't feel anything. Yes, we sometimes have sex on my period. Sue us. And so I just thought to myself, maybe I took out and forgot or just misremembered that my period had ended, no biggie. Again, my period doesn't have like a set length, so it didn't seem abnormal for me to be certain about when it comes and goes. So we do the dirty, I of course believing that there is in fact no tampon in there, and continue with my life like I didn't. And I guess that's where the ongoing foo began, because I probably should have confirmed that there was nothing in there. Fast forward to 3 weeks later this morning. I woke up, went to the bathroom, and suddenly felt like something was being pushed out of my vagina, which felt very similar to that of a tampon. And it was. My brain begins to recall why I have a tampon sticking out of my vagina. Did I forget that my period started? Did I forget to take it out last night? When was my last period? And then everything began to make sense. About 2 weeks ago Henry and I were having sex, and I noticed that once I became self-lubricated, she did not smell right, and enough so that he even asked me if his dick smelled bad, but I told him I thought it was me. The smell kind of persisted over this time period, but I thought maybe it was just a weird change in hormones or something normal was contributing to it. But no, it was a bundled up stick of cotton absorbing 3 weeks worth of my genital fluids, lube, and my boyfriend's cum. The very mild cramps I had been experiencing, probably because of the cum dump cotton stick. Right now he's sitting next to me and I know I should tell him that we probably don't have to worry about the smell anymore, but I'm so embarrassed I don't know how to. I also don't know what I should do right now, like I know douches aren't healthy for you, but if there was any time someone needed to use one it would probably be me right now. I also can't decide if I should visit my OBGYN. Maybe I can just ask for a new vagina for Christmas. Too long did not read. I've been having an abnormal smelling vagina for the past few weeks, but I couldn't figure out why. Until this morning when a 3-week-old tampon fell out that I had forgotten about. TBH, I'd probably go to the gyno and make sure you don't have the beginnings of an infection or toxic shock syndrome. As another person with a vagina, better be safe than sorry. Before introducing necrosis into the bedroom, it's common courtesy that all involved parties make sure they're on the same page. Go to your obgyn and have them check for infection. Forgotten tampons happen more frequently than you would think. Man, you are so lucky you didn't get an infection. Visit your OBGYN just to make sure that you don't have any infections or anything crazy. Today I fucked up by giving away a seat that wasn't mine. I was taking a flight and went to what I thought was my seat. After some time, someone asked me if I could swap seats with them. Sure, I said. No problem. They had kids and wanted to be together. After then sitting in my new seat, it happened yet again that someone asked if I would be willing to change. What are the chances? Well, somewhat annoyingly this time, I obliged and went to my new row. I was tired and zoned out to some tunes with my headphones and awaited the boarding of the plane. Welp, after a bit of time, I noticed some commotion. I was internally rolling my eyes at all the fools that couldn't read their ticket. After some time, heads started turning to me and I suddenly got really uncomfortable. After people started putting together the string of changes, that was comical, really, I finally looked at my ticket. Turns out, I apparently gave away a seat that was actually the gate, C3. Half of that section all had to get up and jostle everything around, and the entire ordeal caused about 10 minutes of a delay getting everyone on the damn plane and in the right seats. In the end it all worked out, but the entire flight, I felt like everyone was pissed at me and giving me eye daggers. Too long did not read. I gave away a seat that wasn't mine, 2 times over, and it screwed up everyone. I like this one. It sounds like a Mr. Bean plot. This is why flight attendants ask that you don't swap seats until boarding has finished. Lol. I was in the reverse situation once. Me making someone move out of my seat set off a chain event of 5 people having to shuffle around. It didn't seem like the seats had been given away, they were all just scared to confront the person in their seat and acted just as surprised as me at it all unfolded. Ha ha ha, bless. I would have hated to be in your position. Really though, the swappers should have been considered as at fault as you. If people wanted to sit by their kids, they should have booked it early enough to do so. Shrug. Today I fucked up by following my brother to see where he goes, turns out he's gay. For the past few weeks my brother, 18M, has been going out every day and he says he going to hang out with his friends, and I didn't think much of it. But recently I've noticed he's been racking up a lot of kilometers on the Tesla. Like I could see the battery being used excessively, and in a week he racked up 450 kilometers. So today I decided to see where he goes because he's never done this before and I don't know where he's going. I thought maybe he was in trouble or something is happening to him. Anyways, so I followed him and it took me to a park. Long story short, my brother is in the closet and he comes to this park to kiss his boyfriend privately. I'm happy he's found someone he likes. But he's not happy that I followed him because he wasn't ready to come out. But I was worried because it's not normal to rack 450 km in 1 week. This park is like 25 kilometers away from our house. That 50 kilometers both ways. Too long did not read. Followed my brother to a park because I thought he was in trouble, turns out he's gay. A Tesla owner will always find a way to let you know. Following him is bad enough, but fine. You see he's with a boy, you smile, walk away feeling relieved it's something wholesome rather than dangerous, and then that's it. How did he know you were following him? Did you tell him? What kind of car did you follow him in? I need to know now. Why do people do the weird shit before just simply communicating? I think the Americans here don't understand that in some cultures we don't live in our car. 50 kilometers a day is a lot where I come from, and I would definitely be weirded out if my brother drove 450 kilometers every week. Today I fucked up by texting my ex-wife. About a year ago I finalized a divorce with my ex-wife. It didn't end the greatest, but we've been on good terms since then and have been focused on being great co-parents for our son. A month ago she messaged me asking if we could get him a passport. He's 5 and they don't have any trips planned abroad, but she figured we could get some ID for him. This set off alarm bells for me, and a wild thought crossed my mind that she might be planning to leave the country with him. It was an irrational thought and I dismissed it almost immediately, but you can't always help where your mind wanders. I know these kinds of things happen, but this is not something my ex would do. It really was just a random irrational thought. So we get him the passport this week and he's telling a relative about his passport, which raises an eyebrow and some questions. Later, I text the relative that I had some reservations too and that I recognized that it was a ridiculous idea, but I still thought it. Except, I accidentally texted the ex-wife instead about how I suspected she might try to leave with him. I tried to unsend, but she saw it and has been very quiet while I apologize and try to explain that I had an irrational thought and I don't actually believe she's going to try and leave with him. We've been working really hard to make sure we're healing the relationship, and this isn't going to help at all. Too long did not read. Accidentally messaged my ex-wife my suspicions that she requested a passport for my son without any trips planned. Edit. Appreciate the comments and everyone's concern. It's definitely eye-opening, but there's some other factors here that make me unconcerned. She's not a flight risk. We share custody and have a good relationship. There was 1 or 2 reasons why I had the initial fear, but they're honestly ludicrous. Thank you though, and I do appreciate the concern. What 5-year-old needs a passport unless they're leaving the country? This isn't irrational at all, it's exactly what I would immediately suspect. Edit. Love all the comments proving my point. We travel abroad all the time. What if you have a spur-of-the-moment vacation outside the country? Exactly. I got my kids' passports by the time they were 2 because sometimes opportunity pop up and the effort it takes to get a passport quickly, I've done it, is stress-inducing. But I'd be concerned if she's not generally a traveler. Children don't need an ID even to fly domestically, so the only reason you need a passport is to leave the country or to just feel cool that you have one. Other countries say you should carry a notarized letter from the other parent when traveling alone with a child, but I was only once ever asked for it, and that was in Canada. Unless you have a court order stipulating out-of-country travel and shared custody, a child's passport should be off the table regardless of the health of your co-parenting relationship. You texting your ex about your reservations was the second best thing you could have done. Validating your own emotions and not getting the passport would have been the first. Your fear is not irrational at all. It is based on real stories from real people. Why couldn't they just get the kid a state ID? I'd be sussed out too, honestly. Amazing she got reception on the plane.